Yo, this is MegaManFan, and you need to rock and or roll on over to Mr. MegaManFan's YouTube channel, because it's all that rush to make it happen. Peace!
I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and welcome back to the Retro Hunting Adventures in Dallas. We are at the movie trading company, who apparently has so much inventory that they're having buy two, get one free on all of their used games. They had quite a number of Nintendo 64 and Nintendo DS games. I was honestly mesmerized by how much they had just sitting out on the shelves, and a good selection of PSP movies, as you can see here. They also had some novelty items in the store, including some plushies that look like Beanie Babies and accessories, just a little bit of this and that. And they also apparently have blind packs, buy one get one free, but these blind boxes were like $10, so no thanks, but still interesting that they seem to have a buy something and get something with something on just about everything in their store. My wife actually found an item in the store that said vintage stock on it, so she believes they may be affiliated with a chain in Oklahoma that we've shopped at a few times when we've gone to OVGE. And this should date the video a little. They had put out 4th of July banners all over the place. It was that same weekend that we went to New Japan's G1 show in Dallas, Texas. Of course, you put Mega Man games on the shelf. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. They're going to catch my eye. So, what did I end up getting from the movie trading company? I'll show you. I used their buy two, get one free to pick up Zuma's Revenge Complete for Nintendo DS, Mark Davis Pro Bass Challenge for GameCube, also complete, and for Nintendo 64, Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. All three of these games total, with tax, cost me about $14. I was pretty happy with that haul. By checking Google Maps, we learned that there was a half-price books on the same street, Cooper Street, so we decided to check out their store and see if the inventory was any different than back home in Nebraska. This Kawasaki Superbike Challenge momentarily interested me, but then I noticed that both of these games were a little rough for loose condition, and if I'm going to buy a loose cartridge, I would prefer it to be nicer than that, so I ended up passing on those Genesis games, but I hung on to them for a little bit. Came over here to look at the Wii and the GameCube games. Does anything catch my eye here? Yes, The Sum of All Fears is a GameCube game I don't have. I'll just have to determine if either of these is complete before I make my purchase, but let's see what else they have in this half-price books on Cooper Street. We've got some PlayStation games, we've got some DS games, and I believe we've also got some PS1 games. Let's see here. Adidas Power Soccer, I think I need that. Cool Borders 3. I'll think about that Star Wars, depends on what kind of condition it's in. And as you can see, this half-price books location was pretty well stocked. Well, that may just be because I haven't been there as much as the one I usually go to, so my one is a little more picked over than this particular one happens to be. I managed to do pretty well at half price. I got that Cool Borders 3, and I also picked up the Power Soccer 98 well under what it lists for online, and I picked up Real Fishing for only $4. But also off camera, I found a couple of other things. I found Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius for only $5. That was complete. Unfortunately, the Sum of All Fears wasn't. Zoop was, though, complete with instructions and cartridge for $5. And Vector Man, surprisingly enough, somebody traded that into half-price books. And I got 15% off of all of this, including this book called The Tetris Effect, because I had a 15% off coupon for my birthday. So a very good day at Half Price Books on the whole. Last but not least, as mentioned in part 1 of this video, we're checking out FX Game Exchange in Plano, a place that was recommended by my friend Brett Weiss. Besides vintage video games, retro stuff, they've also got a setup to do console repair, and I'm sure that comes in handy, but since I don't live here, I'll stick with taking mine to Fix It Phil. Let's step inside, see what they have. We've got Nintendo Switch and Wii U games right off the bat. They have a section for pre-orders. Cyberpunk 2077. You're beautiful. You're all beautiful. But let's see what other beautiful games they have to buy. Lots of Wii titles. Lots of shovelware. That's just the unfortunate reality of Nintendo Wii games. Now I got excited by this buy one get one half off or buy two get one free, but that's a members only offer. And there's no point in me getting a membership because the only location is Plano, Texas, and I don't live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, let alone Plano. So if I paid $20 for a membership, I'd never be able to go back and use it enough to justify it. I mean, even with the substantial amount of games I ended up picking up on this day, $20 would have been more than I would have saved. It would have been a wash at best. So I still made out pretty good though, as you'll see here in a minute. But first, let's take a look at these Mega Man games. Hey, if I didn't already have those, I would definitely get them, but I do, so didn't need them. But still, it's always nice to see Mega Man games when Mr. MegaManFan is filming. Nintendo 64 games. They put out display boxes for them instead of the loose cartridges. I think I can find a few things that I need among the selection that they're offering. They've got Super Nintendo boxes out as well for those games. And they've got Dreamcast and 3DO games. Nice use of the Gex Gecko there. And we'll keep on scrolling. They've got some Genesis games here. And, we've got some docked and locked Switches. It appears they have a competition room, probably for Smash Bros. Ultimate, but I imagine you could run any sort of competition you wanted. We've got an Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 arcade cab, or possibly a MAME cab. It wasn't turned on, so I don't know. A Neo Geo cab, looking pretty nice. What do we have over here? More docked systems. Another Nintendo Switch, locked and bolted down. I can't blame them. I mean, if you're using this as a competition room, you don't want anybody to just pick these things up and walk out with them, right? So best to keep them on lock. Wait, that said 50-cent games. And I don't mean Curtis Jackson. I'm going to have to come back to that in a second, but these Intellivision games caught my eye, so I thought I would walk over here and see what they had. This is their list of GameCube mods and repairs. I don't know if I'd advertise the mods part, but hey, just saying, it's on there. It's on that sheet, so it's up to them how they want to run their business. Anyway, I'm not complaining because I got some really nice deals here. Look at that large assortment of Game Boy Advance games. And of course, another Mega Man game, that one for PlayStation 2. This is a very well-stocked store. I was impressed by the amount of things they had for sale and on display. Wow, I had no idea that the X Collection was going for that much these days. I'm sure that price is accurate. Oh, and at this particular store, I met a Mega Man fan working behind the counter named Mega Dan, and he told me that Jay from the Game Chasers sold him a complete inbox copy of Ninja 5 for Game Boy Advance for $200. Apparently Jay had taken it to a gaming convention, had put a decent price on it, couldn't sell it, didn't get any takers, but Mega Dan said, you know what, for $200 I'll take it, because I guess it normally goes for $400. It's one of the rarest Game Boy Advance games around, so I don't blame Mega Dan for snapping that one up when Jay offered it to him. Sounded like he sees the Game Chasers in there quite regularly. He said they do trade-ins for store credit or cash. So, yet another place I went to in Texas that the Game Chasers frequent. Those guys are everywhere. And check these out. Video game themed chocolates and candies. These are pretty cool. DeliciousDoom.com. If I had a good way to take any of those back to Omaha, I would have, but I didn't think they would survive in transport. And I was already planning on getting some Stuckeys, but more on that in a minute. We're going to go look at the PlayStation 2 games over here. I was hoping to find some Crash Bandicoot games because of Cadicarus. And what do I see here? Got anything that I'm looking for? Oh, we got Mega Man games, of course. I'm going to stop and look at those. Let's scroll around to the other side. Oh, we've gone from PS2 to PlayStation games. And of course, more buy one, get one off reminders. And more PlayStation games. And nothing particularly catching my eye. Good to see the Tomb Raider games though. But that's going to do it for our tour of FX. And now I'll show you what I got in my haul from that store. This is actually a loose copy of The Grinch, but I already had the case and manual, so now I have a complete set. And we have NFL Quarterback Club 2001. Somewhat hard to find for Dreamcast, believe it or not, for a sports title. What else do I have in the bag here? Why, it's a 50-cent game, Madden 99. These next games are 50 cent as well. Game Day, and we have NHL 2000. I know Peter H. will be happy to see that. Shout out to the hardcore Canadian. We got another PlayStation game here, Tiger Woods 99. I wonder if that's the one that the South Park Spirit of Christmas is on. I'll have to check. I also got Triple Play 99 for 50 cents. That 50-cent shelf was quite a good investment because I got a lot of games cheaper than you would at a Goodwill or a thrift store or a pawn shop, because usually they still want at least $1 for sports titles, which I really have a hard time justifying if it's not something I'm collecting for, like Nintendo GameCube or Nintendo 64. So I'll take some cheap ass sports titles for 50 cents each, please. Yes, and thank you. Speaking of which, ESPN for Xbox for 50 cents. Major League Baseball, also 50 cents. And we got another Xbox game here. That would be MVP. And moving on, we have this NFL Fever game for 50 cents. And we have an NHL game, so Peter H. will also be happy about that one. So, nice little selection of Xbox games, $2.50 for 5 original Xbox console games in their original green clamshell cases, which I made a point of telling the guy working at the counter at FX that I was especially happy about, because I hate it when they end up in replacement DVD cases and they're black instead of green. I want authenticity as much as possible. Perhaps the best part of my stop at FX though was their Nintendo 64 selection. While this wasn't 50 cents, it was one I definitely needed to complete my set, as is Quake. Unbelievably, I had Quake 2, but I didn't have Quake. South Park Rally is surprisingly hard to find. Guess there must be a lot of South Park fans collecting those games. And Fitz traded in his Space Invaders. What up, Fitz? Hey, thanks for giving me another game for my collection, brother. Last but not least, we've got some GameCube and some PlayStation 2 games. Call of Duty 2, as you can see there. And what else do I have here in the bag from FX? Let me fish around a little bit and pull it out. There are the cheap PS2 games. 50 cent for Supercar, 50 cent for Tiger Woods for another Tiger Woods game, and 50 cents for this Total Immersion Racing. All of these complete with instructions. So one of our last stops on the way back was this Stuckeys convenience store. We don't have Stuckeys back in Omaha, so I had to stop because they're famous for their pecan delights, their candies, their log rolls, their pies, they put pecans in just about everything. So I thought, why not stop here and pick up a little something, throw it in the cooler for the trip back home. So let's take a look inside this Stuckeys. And sure enough, right when you enter the door, everything's there. The pecan log rolls that they're famous for. They've also got pecan divinity. They've got cheese straws. They've got pecans and chocolates. They've got just about every way you can consume a pecan as a form of candy. They've also got some coconut bars. They've got some more miniature-sized divinities and some larger-sized divinities. And they've got these milk chocolate clusters. I bought one of those. And they've got some miniature pies up here on the top. All of this stuff looks delicious, but I didn't buy the whole store. I didn't get the pecan brittle either, although I think my father would have appreciated that because he's always liked stuff like peanut brittle, so maybe I should have. I saw these magnets here. One of them spoke to me, definitely caught my eye. All I need is my pizza, my Wi-Fi, and my bed. But this one was even better. It said, "Don't make me angry. I'm close to leveling up and you look like just enough XP." So I had to get that magnet. I absolutely couldn't resist once I saw it. Very much up my alley as a gamer. And let's look around and see what else they have in the Stuckeys. Don't mess with Texas, not surprised by that. Seeing cap guns in a convenience store surprised me though. Haven't used one of those since I was a kid. That's going to do it for this episode of the Retro Hunting Adventures. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Bye for now.